Hello, people. Wow, I'll tell you what. Niel Dellacroce is loved. Now, I want you guys to understand something. This is a two-part show. In general, what this show is about, it's kind of a risky show, but because I'm going to be talking more about the feds than Niel Dellacroce. And the main reason that I'm going to be, I read this article on Niel Dellacroce. And you would figure if you ever heard about anybody in this world that wouldn't be a snitch, it would be Niel Dellacroce. And then one article came out in the Times in 1985. And it was after he died, and it's the best time to print stuff. But the fact of the matter is, it's easy for the feds to plant stories where people are called rats. And the main reason I'm bringing this subject up is because it's been a big discussion lately with everything going on, with some arguments I've been having and stuff. And I never heard anything about Niel Dellacroce ever, that you basically heard he was a stand-up guy. And so I said to myself, okay, the Times did this story in 1985. Then I did more research. Looked everywhere, seen what else I could find on it. Couldn't find much of anything. But you know what I could find? I could find a lot of stuff that proved the story to be a lie. But I'm going to tell you something. You had some people come in here, especially my haters. They came in here and they started, oh, Lee, fuck you. You know, I could read some of these things, man. But, you know, see, this is the problem. People, these are our shows, people. We get to do our shows the way we want to do them. So if you want to bitch, moan, and groan about it, do your own shows. You know, you're in here because you're a hater. Before you judge the show, watch the show. I'm going to give you an example. Gianni Catalano. You talk some horrible crap about me. But here's what you do when you come in here. DAniello, serious. Laugh my ass off. Come on, Lee. At least spell the guy's name right if you aren't going to pronounce it right. But Gianni, the other day you were putting some false stories out there about an interview that I had lined up. But we're not going to talk about it. You know which interview I'm talking about. But, you know, this is what you deal with, people. You know, give me a chance to tell my story. And then if you don't like it, then tell me you don't like it. Bitch, moan, groan. But this is a two-part story, people. And, you know, here's the shame part. It's very easy. You hear the words 302s, people that do 302s and all that stuff. Why did they come out with this story about Dellacroce after he died? Right after he died. And why did it come out in a very prominent magazine at that time? And it was Time magazine. And back then, these magazines actually meant something. It's not like now, you know, anybody could write anything online. Okay, so what this is about a guy that people would never think was a snitch. So I'm going to read the article that was written in the Times right after he died. And then tomorrow, when I do my second part of this, I'm going to read two documents that prove otherwise. And pretty much what I want you guys to take into this is how easy you can be called a snitch. And don't get me wrong, I'm not defending anybody that we're having controversy with right now being called a snitch. You know, people call me a snitch all the time. And I'm not even a gangster. I'm just a guy with a show. And it's usually people that are snitches calling me a snitch. So being that this is a subject, we're going to get into the snitching subject. Okay? And it's called having balls, people. When you do a show, do something that is controversial. You know, I knew when I do this show that I'm probably not going to get as many likes as I usually do. I'm going to have people say some negative things toward me. The smartest thing that I could have done is not do a show like this. But that's the fun of doing this stuff. You know, we have the right to do these things. These are our shows. You know, we can come in here. The big thing lately is coming in here and fighting and attacking each other. So here's the Mafia show, people. This is what you want. So don't complain about it when you get it. And just because you don't like the headlines doesn't mean that I shouldn't do the show. And when you see the headlines, did it say Niel Dellacroce is a rat? Nope. If you read underneath the information where we usually put stuff as creators, that's what matters. And people say, oh, it's clickbait. Our jobs as entertainers is to get people to come look at the stories. And I didn't clickbait that Niel Dellacroce was a rat. I said, was he? Key word. So let's see. We're going to talk about this now. Let me see if I can pull this article up. All of a sudden it came black. It went blank off my screen. So I'm going to try it again. Okay, give me 1 minute. Let's see if this pulls up. And of course, it's going to give me trouble right now. It figures. Here we go. It's called on. It's called the Mobster Dellacroce was a AI informer. This was written today, November 16th, 1985. I'm going to wait. Something's dragging on my computer right now, so I'm going to just wait a couple minutes before I start reading it. Let me clear some stuff out here. Okay. Give me 1 minute. I'm just clearing up my bar up here so I can start reading this story. Okay. So here's the story. His name was Gianni Dellacroce, which in Italian means little lamb of the cross. He took pleasure in killing people. He likes to peer into victims' face like some kind of dark angel at the moment of death, a federal agent once said of the Mafia chief. As an underboss with the Gambino clan, the most powerful of the New York's 5 families, he was a member chief enforcer of the Commission, the 11-member council that reputedly oversees organized crime around the U.S., occasionally disguised as a priest under the alias Father O'Neill. A play on his first name, he traveled about the nation to impose edicts and settle disputes between rival mafia clans. Few mobsters dared to argue with him. Dellacroce, who died in his sleep in New York hospital at the age of 71, played another role as well. For almost two decades, he was an informant for the FBI. Remember, this is this article saying this. This ain't me saying it. Though Dellacroce was very forthcoming about his own crimes, he offered the feds a wealth of information about those committed by his enemies and the commission. After Carlo Gambino, the capo, died in 1976, Dellacroce told the FBI that another would-be godfather, Carmine Galante, had been marked for death. Dellacroce had reason to know. Plans for the Galante hit were hatched in his own headquarters at the Ravenite Social Club in Manhattan, Little Italy. The feds were able to isolate and protect Galante as long as he was in prison for parole violation. But after he was released in 1979, Galante was mowed down during a lunch in the backyard of a Brooklyn restaurant. Other information provided by Dellacroce gave the FBI leads on unsolved murders of Teamster boss Jimmy Hoffa and helped break national narcotic cases, including the so-called Pizza Connection case, 20 U.S. and Sicilian mobsters for heroin trafficking. Dellacroce's double life began one afternoon in mid-1960s when a limousine swung up to the Revenite Social Club. Out stepped a man in a somber suit carrying a Wall Street banker's briefcase. Who's in charge here? He demanded. The bold stranger was an FBI agent named Pat Collins. Sitting down with Dellacroce, he began a slow courtship, gradually winning him over by convincing the weary mafia leader that the private relationship with the federal authorities would not be bad business policy or in high risk. Unlike Teamster union boss Jackie Presser, who escaped prosecution on charges of padding the union payrolls this year because he was an FBI informant, Dellacroce's cooperation did not keep him out of jail. In 1972, he was sentenced to 5 years in prison for income tax evasion. Collins had expected that one day Dellacroce would demand payment for his information, but that never happened. The FBI agent died of a heart attack in 1980 at the age of 51. This year, Dellacroce was ordered to stand trial on racketeering and conspiracy charges, along with 10 other members of the commission. Whether he hoped the payment would come in the form of exoneration from those charges will probably never be known. Before the trial would begin, the bloodthirsty little lamb slipped from the grasp of federal prosecutors. Okay. That is like one of the most poorly written stories I've ever read. I mean, think about the way the story is read. It says that the agent pulled up to the Ravenite, got out with a black briefcase, and went in and asked for Niel Dellacroce. Does that even sound right? Does this sound like, think about it. Why would an agent just pull up like that into Ravenite? You know, you got other gangsters in there, tons of other gangsters. And he started a courtship. And then the agent just happened to die when he was 50. So Niel Dellacroce slipped under the radar. It is one of the worst written articles I've ever read, with the least amount of proof. But yet, Time magazine at that time printed it. And right after he died. Now think about that. That's how easy it is for the feds to call someone a rat. But I think what happened with Niel Dellacroce, they tried it, and right away it was shot down. And I have 2 articles tomorrow that I'm going to present that proves that this article is totally fake. That's pretty much what I have to say about that. But, you know, the most amazing thing is the response you get on articles sometimes. Listen before you start bitching, especially the people that always bitch about me. But anyway, let's move on from that point. I'm going to read some of these now, people. Italian Mamba, another person that talks a lot of shit about me. Talk about lying clickbait. Carmine, Lee, he was no informer. He was a true gangster to the end. If you said Angelo Ruggiero, then I would have agreed. Angelo Ruggiero is too easy to talk about. It's obvious that that guy was just totally unstable. I mean, look what everything that he said on his videos. I'm sorry, on the audio tapes. And Angelo Ruggiero was just not a good person. Slick Rick, he wouldn't have hung on for so long if that was true. I agree with you, Slick Rick. Now, Mark Dellacroce was not an informant, and that was proven. But the Persico docs, exactly. The same CI number they tried to pin on Niel is Greg Scarpa's CI number. Make sure you have that proof, which I do, Mark. Thank you very much. The docs are posted on a few mob channels. Okay, well, I'm not going to put that up. And yes, he was. Sadly, he tried to pin a murder. No, well, that wasn't okay. Good. Niel's legacy shouldn't be ruined by an overzealous reporter, Larry McShane. McShane had no response when the mob fireside channel called him out. They were the first to do so. You know, Mark, you're really good at this because Mark has literally pulled up everything that's on this case. I mean, you literally did my story for me. But Mark, it's obvious that you are on top of this. Matter of fact, this is one of the clips from the Persico docs that you should read. It's not the actual doc, though, which will be read. Mark says, compare all the articles. Mark, fat ball beggar. It is well known that John. Okay, I'm not going to get into that, people. Let's stay away from that today because what I'm trying to do is this article enough gives people a story, but what I'm going to try to do this week is to stay away from that stuff because it's not getting anywhere. I mean, you guys have watched these other shows. That's what they use for content. They have no other content. So basically what they do is they attack this show's content. And you know which two shows I'm talking about. Doo Brown's in town. You know what, Doo Brown's in town? You said a couple things that made sense in another person's chat room yesterday, but they didn't want to hear it. But I do appreciate the fact that you actually said something that were good, solid questions. I really doubt he was an informant. Turd Bird, you'll see part 2 tomorrow, and the documents that prove. And you know, if anything, people that are always moaning and groaning that their family members are not rats should enjoy this show because of the fact that I'm going to talk about what the FBI does to make people look like rats. The rats, you have to understand that they can come along at any time, the feds, and they could turn anybody into a rat just by planting one story. That easy. Gianni Cantilano. Okay, Lee, you got no respect. You can't even spell his name. It's not Anello, it's DAniello. Personally, I don't give a shit, okay? Especially when you tell me. Good afternoon, Lee. Hope all's well. Rodney, it's going great. Mark, nobody will dare call JoJo a liar. He gave A-Lights to 302s before A-Lights turned to warn him. Junior forced Marino to plead guilty to the Heidel murder. Well, DP, hopefully you just heard everything I said, and if you didn't, I'm sorry. Okay, the tall man was no informant. I agree with you, Dave. DP, the article is by Larry McShane, exactly. Does anybody know where Larry McShane is now? That's a guy I like to interview, to ask him why he wrote such a poor article. Okay. Bill Jordan, how you doing? I'm sorry I didn't call out your names today. I wanted to get right to the story. When are you going to do a show with Nicky Carrazzo and Lenny D and the Canarsie crew? They were the most relative Gambino crew ever. You know what, Brooklyn Day? When you suggest a story, I look into them, and if I'm able to do them, I will. But you're going to see a lot more stories, and you're going to see a lot less. I spent myself defending myself last week because, you know, you got certain people that hang together or they use their wives to attack people. You know, you got those people. And so I dealt with that last week, pulled their buttons a little bit. They were upset and screaming and crying all last week. So this week, I'm going to leave them alone. If they want to attack me, they can, but I'm just going to click those 2 shows off. Okay. Doc, so one thing when someone like Jojo Carrazzo, who's a lawyer, puts it out, don't doubt it, trust it. Jojo Electric, MP, okay. Tony V, Greg Scarper, Whitey Bulger, Danny Green, many more became informants for the FBI in the 60s and 70s. It wouldn't. Let me tell you something, Tony V. That is a very good point. You know, people say all these informants have come out in the 80s and 90s. Do you guys realize how many informants were out there in the 60s? I mean, a lot of these open files from the FBI, you know, they have a time limit, then they can open them up. A lot of these FBI documents are being released now. And those are the documents you want to look at. And so many people from the 60s. I mean, once Valachi jumped out, a bunch of people followed him. Talking about Junior's 302, that was an A-light. It was the Gambinos that gave it to him. Okay. Well, you know, I can't pull up stuff like that because then I'm going to be attacked. Stone Cold Leos, okay, I don't get that, dude. Redzilla, how you doing? Is this show about Dellacroce or about you ranting? Well, I don't know. It's a little bit of both today, Don. But I'm glad to see you here to listen to my ranting. Someday I'm hoping that you come on my show and show your face. You seem like a really smart guy that can teach me something. All good, my man. Good luck. Okay. Do you want me to send you Gotti's? I have those, Joey, but I do appreciate it. Laugh out loud. Don't even know I will do it. I mean, wait and see what my lawyer says tomorrow. Cheers. I will keep you posted. But bro, okay. Okay. You guys seem to be on John Jr. a lot. I mean, I don't know. People get mad when I talk about John Jr., but it seems like a lot of you guys in here have this thing about John Jr. Now, I would love to do a John Jr. show, but you know, it gets difficult when you have a person running around. And if you mention anything about the Gambino family, or if you mention anything about that family, you're called a liar and you're attacked, no matter what you say. So, you know, that's why I kind of stay away from it. But I go near it more than most other people. You know, but it's kind of unfortunate that we're in a mafia genre and we can't discuss mafia stuff. And that kind of bothers me. But if you discuss mafia stuff, you get attacked because they don't like it. They don't like that you're just discussing mafia stuff or talking about another person's family or whatever. But the fact of the matter, it really is mafia stuff. It shows up when you type. Listen, and that's another thing. I'll give you an example. Last week I did a show on John A. Light. And it talked about what he was doing, how he came out and was saying something ridiculous. And then John A. Light was bitching that I did the show. But these people that bitched about me, they didn't even say anything when I did the John A. Light show. Not a word. But yet John A. Light was going around bitching about me, about the show I did. So, you know, that should say something right there, people. You know, it's going to be very interesting to see what Joe Watts has to say, isn't it, Joey? He gave up Denny Marino and forced Marino to plead out the Heidel killing. Yeah, we already read that, but I'm trying to catch up here. There's so much stuff here already. 0% chance Niel informed. He was very successful, long-time mafiosa who did a little time in prison. Feds have a special hatred for mafiosos and know the worst thing that you can tell them is call them Tony. Exactly. And you know what, guys? If you think that my thumbnail might be a little clickbaitish, when I get done here, I will change it around somewhat. But when you read our thumbnails, go to the information that's written below the thumbnails. That's what matters. And like it's like I said, it says it came out and said was. And so I have a show planned today, and I'm going to talk and the whole basis of the show was to talk about how easy it is for the feds to have very unqualified reporters plant stories. And unfortunately, we're in an information world where people believe anything they read or anything they see. Exactly. I only label a rat a snitch if it's verified example, Schmiegel, the helmet, a liar, honorable mentions. He was. Mr. Niel was a Gambino powerhouse. He was probably the last great Gambino. I mean, he was holding everything together, but it seems like once he died, things went downhill real quick. I mean, he died in 85. The next thing you know, by in 1990, 91, everything was a mess. Everybody was being arrested and all the families. It was just a mess. Gianni Cantilano, Lee, you're crazy. I made a joke about the Russo interview, a joke. I didn't peddle disinformation, and you routinely mispronounce Italian names and wrote this one's names wrong. That's not disinformation. Gianni, I seen what you wrote in FBS's show. And the first thing he did is he started saying to you, really? Oh, did that really happen? It doesn't take much for him to listen to people giving him bad information on the show. He falls for what you guys tell him a lot. Like I'll say people will go on his show and say stuff that ain't true. And he bites it. He takes it right away and goes with it. And that's what you did that show. So, just fess up to it. You said something that wasn't true. And you're going to see shortly it wasn't true. But he bought it because you said it. I literally never talk about anyone. I really ever comment. So please don't say I have the negative things to say about you. Okay, Italian Mambo, if that's how you feel, I won't do it. Okay. Grant Calder, 19 or something subs from 500. Do me a favor. Just subscribe to Pushback. Okay. Did people got that right there? See that, Grant? I'll put Pushback up there. Maybe why watching now numbers are cut in half today. It's not your numbers. When you do a video, I'm going to give you an example. When I do live videos, I pick up less new subs when you do live videos. When I do a video and drop it, I'll give you an example. I dropped a video 2 days ago about the fake Italian guy that got arrested on gun charges. And I picked up right after that almost 20 subs. 10 subs 2 days in a row. 2 days in a row. It was between 8 and 10. So when I do live shows, I pick up less subs. But I do the live shows because a lot of you people ask me to do live shows. But it's better for me not to do live shows. My channel grows quicker when I drop videos. but I enjoy doing these live shows. And the numbers of people doesn't mean anything. What it means is how many people look at your video by the time it's over. And that goes for me, FBS, anybody, any of us. And that's what it comes down to. When you drop a video, you start off with 0. And then it takes you several hours to get to 500. But when you do a live video, you get to 500 right away. But the problem is that the chances are that you're going to get very few new subs. So you get many less new subs when you do it this way. But last week I did 5 lives. You know, if you guys remember when my show really started a couple weeks ago, I picked up a shitload of subs, and I picked up some of those videos I dropped were on Sammy Gavano. And when I did it that way, I picked up a lot of subs. And when I drop videos, I pick up subs. But, you know, this is a decision we have to make. If we want our channels to grow quicker, we've got to stop doing so many lives. You know, that's why you'll see Jimmy Calandra only do 1 live a week, and then he drops 2 or 3 videos. And Jimmy's show grows and grows real fast. And you don't see Sammy Gavano do live shows. You don't see Michael Franzese. If you want to see their live shows, you got to join their patron page, and they'll do live shows. But in general, it's smart not to do live shows. So this is very bad done shows. That's why I read the article and have proof tomorrow to prove a lie. I don't get it. Okay, Joe, I don't remember the last time I seen you here, but thank you for telling me that. As long as I got you here, Joe, thank you. Yeah, exactly, Jane. Nobody's forcing nobody to watch. Am I going to do shows where I'm going to praise somebody because I'm friends with somebody? You'll never see me do that. Okay, I'm friends with Gene Barillo, so I'm going to praise John A. Light? No way. I gained even greater dislike for, you know something? There's so much hatred going on these channels right now. You know, it's kind of sad though when you can't do a show because you're afraid you're going to be torn apart for it. You can't have an opinion because you're afraid you're going to be torn apart for it. Do you see anybody attacking OC Shorts when he does a show? I seen a show the other day where the guy that drives in the car, I can't think of his name. I'm sure you guys know him. He does really well. And he did a show about the John Gotti fight in a bar where somebody was killed. Can you imagine if I did that show? And I told the details that he said in that show? Because he described the killing in the bar. He described John Gotti Jr. coming back after the killing. And he did it in one show. Nobody said nothing to him. But if I did that show, I would be attacked by certain people. That's how it is here, people. You got to be worried about what the hell you put up. The story is FBI generate misinformation to provoke paranoia. Scotch, you know, you said it perfect. You absolutely said it perfect. Everyone says they wish they never showed their face on here eventually. Listen, when I started this show, I actually put my real name out. And when I put my real name out, what's the first thing that happened? Everybody checked my background. Anybody that didn't like me checked my background. And they put out my criminal record, anything I did. And the good thing about me doing that is they got all the shit that I've done in my life. So there's nothing else they can go after me for shit, call me names and stuff, but they can't go after me for my past because it's already been out there. I actually like Junior. He's not a loudmouth liar like A-Light. Can't argue with you there. Well, you made a video about one of the family's friends, so you wanted to see what I mean? This is the perfect example. I made a video about Niel Dellacroce, who was a murderer. So I'm supposed to worry that he was a family friend. Skinny Vinny, that's exactly it. This show had nothing to do with Angel. So every time I do a damn show, and it has something to do with a damn Gambino, it has to do with her now? You're the perfect example, Skinny Vinny. So people, I'm not allowed to do a show in any way that touches her. It's ridiculous. Do a story on Neil's stepdaughter, on Gotti. They had a daughter. She lives on Staten Island. I read all that, but can you imagine what would happen if I did that story? Everybody walks on eggshells around here. They're afraid to do stories because they're going to be attacked. So that's why you don't hear, you see, the guys that stay out of this, like OC Shorts and stuff, they could put up whatever they want. Because he was smart. He stays the hell out of this insanity. So we can't do, once again, we cannot do those type of stories, people. Because then you'll have someone rant and rave about you for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And a bunch of people, I was called evil last night. 2 nights ago, I was called evil by this person. They sent me to my Facebook. I'm sorry, to my Twitter. Evil, evil, evil. So because I discuss things on here, I'm called evil. And the people calling me evil have evil people around them their whole life. People that killed people. And I'm evil. Something's wrong here. Well, we'll soon see. He's coming out with something. Hopefully, we'll see how it does. So how do you say you don't want to start trouble with, but you, Skinny Vinny, you're still on it. Skinny Vinny, can you crawl any further up their ass? Can you, Skinny Vinny? So I can't do, fuck you, Skinny Vinny. That's basically what I'm going to say to you. Matter of fact, let me put him on timeout. That's where he belongs. But this is a perfect example, people. I can't come on here and do a show because I might upset somebody. The most exciting family in the mob was the Gambino family. I can't talk about Ruggiero and Gene Gotti being 2 of the biggest drug dealers in the history of the mob. I can't talk about them putting drugs all over the fucking country during the 80s and 90s. And they were some of the biggest suppliers going. I can't talk about that. Because if I do, I'm insulting people. Out in Camden, you're more than welcome to come on here and talk to me about this. They seized this building in Manhattan, so no, he wasn't an informant. Very good point. I like your show, Lee. It just seems, yeah, it is crazy. It is fucking crazy. It's crazy because I can't do story. There's things I stay away from because you're going to be attacked. I can hardly talk about the Gambinos because people are going to get upset. Yeah, it kind of sucks, actually. Black Hand did a show on John Jr. He had his 302s infos in front of him and all discussed his time as acting boss. If it's fact-based, there's nothing wrong with it. Kelly H., I agree with you. But you know what it is, Kelly H.? You don't understand what goes on behind the scenes and the attacks that are put on me. It's not just there. It's like, you know what it's like when you got to listen to a show and you're just attacked and ripped apart because you said something that a person doesn't like? But you are absolutely right. And you know what, Kelly H., I'm going to take your opinion up. You know, I really think that you have a great point there. Thank you. DP, I like hearing commentary on all mobsters. The John Jr. debate is a good one. I understand why it upsets Angel to hear anything negative about her brother. However, it is just the people's opinions. You know what? But what did she say 2 nights ago? She started screaming and yelling, I'm tired of people talking about my brother. I'm tired about someone being on here going after you every time you say something. I think it really sucks. Black Amber is a journalist apologist. He called Junior the best boss ever. Come on, he didn't say that, did he? I mean, if Black Handprint Mob, if he said that, his credibility is right out the window. I don't think he's a very credible guy. I can't see him saying that. Why would he say something like that? An expose on wrenches, and now Miss Can't Be Wrong gained monopoly on wrenches. Yes. Everybody's talking about changing their wrenches. Lee, what do you make of this great reset? It's a mafia. Oh my gosh. The biggest mafia in the world is in Washington, D.C. Was the collapse of the families inevitable once Rico was inactive? Yeah, I think it was everything. I mean, there was so many things, but I think it's society too. But, you know, you can't say that, John, because, you know, the more you learn about the mob, the more you learn there were a lot of rats always. It's not a new thing. You know, you had some of the head guys of the families being rats in the 60s and 70s. So it's always been there. But I think that as society advances and you have more technology, you're going to have more. Now when they get you, there's more evidence, more proof, especially with wiretap now, is they could tap they could hear what you're saying from a block down the street. It's a whole different ball game now. Okay, Grant called it is verified by Jojo Carrazzo. He's a stand-up guy and a lawyer. Okay. Leah, you heard the story about Anthony Casso burying someone alive in Florida. Does anything about Anthony Casso surprise you? I mean, the guy, he wasn't a gangster. He was literally a serial killer. He was a mean, vicious animal. There was nothing gangster about him. He loved to kill. You know, killing to him was like nothing. He would kill just for the heck of it. Highly doubt Mr. Niel was an informant. I don't like negative talk about people that are not with us anymore. Let the man rest in peace. This is the Mafia, John Martin. This is the Mafia genre. That's what we do here. We talk about people. If you disagree with me, I don't know what to tell you. I didn't come out and say that he was an informant. So that means that we would have no mafia genre here if we weren't allowed to talk about dead people. You know, you're not allowed to say Al Capone had syphilis when he died. You're not allowed to say Lucky Luciano. You can't talk about how ruthless he was because he's dead. Sorry, John. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't hold up. The only thing is mob groupies are the only people who give a shit, like Carlos Munoz and all the other stupid woke people. You know something, though? If you're woke, you destroy this. If you're woke, you shouldn't be on here doing this. You really shouldn't. Because you can't really be honest about what you're speaking about. Can you imagine? Okay, say Niel back in the day. Could you imagine if someone woke sat next to Niel Dellacroce and started talking woke shit? Or any of those woke people, where they would be if they sat next to John Gotti Sr. and they started talking woke shit? They would smack them in the head. You know, woke people should not be in this genre. They should go somewhere else. But we all know where the woke people in this genre go. There's one Pacific show. They can all go there. If you don't believe in God and if you're woke, you know where to go. Were the Gambino the most deadly clan? Mr. Neil, Roy DeMeo, and Big Paul? Yes, I think they were the most deadly clan. I don't think they were the smartest clan. I think the Genovese family was, but I think that the Gambinos was by far. I mean, look at the people that were involved in that clan. I mean, it's like you say, Roy DeMeo. Then he had all those killers around him. John Gotti, he had all his killers around him. Niel Dellacroce. You can go on and on. I mean, the families in the Gambinos were vicious. I don't think you can compare any family to the Gambino family when it came to viciousness, killers, ruthlessness, drug dealing. They just seem to have it all. I mean, if you read into the drug dealing that was done between Rogerio and Gene Gotti and Rogerio's brother, who died in the plane crash, if you go back and you read up on that, that was a huge thing going on at that time. The amount of drugs they were bringing to this country was unbelievable. The amount and they were all over it. You know, and that's what some people, there was nothing. Rogerio was like Casso. There's certain people, there's nothing good about them. They were just horrible people. And those two guys were horrible people. Horrible human beings. The correct German spelling is Hedel, however you say it. Okay. Hedel is an American. John's a pretty smart guy, so let's take him up on it, people. Haley, what's your favorite pizza? Thin crust sausage and pepperoni, probably with extra cheese. You know, something that's just going to clog your heart and kill you. I'll tell you what, man. Chicago Muscle, he's all over the place. He goes after anybody. I mean, I'll be honest with you. He goes after me, but I kind of respect him because it's not like he has any loyalty to anybody. He just makes a video and says what he wants to say. I don't know. What do you guys think of Chicago Muscle? He seems to be talked about an awful lot. For a guy with a tiny little channel, he seems to get a lot of attention from everybody. So the only suggestion I can make to Chicago Muscle is, listen, the guy's made some bad videos on me, but the only suggestion I can make to him is keep up what you're doing, because you're pissing off a lot of people. And you're pissing off people on all sides. Unfortunately, we should have no sides here. You know, I feel like I'm out here alone because You feel like someone's your friend and you find out they're not. It happens all the time. We have to remember, we say people are our friends, but we have to remember we are on the internet. We don't know these people. I have people that come on this show and they act like they're my friend. And the next thing I know, they're on another show with people saying horrible shit about me, and they're they're in the chat room. I caught one guy that was telling me what a great friend we were, and then he goes in the chat room and he has a wrench to this person that is half a retard and says horrible shit about me. So there's no loyalty here, people. None. We all got to come out here for ourselves, do our own shows. If you like somebody, that's all nice and good. But in the end, we're here by ourselves. The most important thing on our channels are the people that watch us. The only thing I care about on my channel are the people that view my channel, are the people that come in the chat room, the people I have discussions with. After that, there's no trust. All these boundary line, everybody's drawing their lines in the sand. This is me. This is me. And then next thing you know, everybody's fighting with each other. It's, when you think about it, it's really ridiculous. We should be able to come on here and everybody should be able to do whatever they want show-wise, and everybody else should shut the fuck up. We should be able to talk about whoever you want on here without someone saying, how dare you say that about somebody? When we talk about mafia people, we have to remember what they were. They were very bad men. Most of them were uneducated thugs. That's what they were. They terrorized their neighborhoods. They rigged prices and drove up prices so the public had to pay more money. Even if you were a civilian, if you got out of control, they would beat you up and kill you. There's nothing good about these men. It's like we live in this world that, like, oh, this guy was a great gangster. This guy was a great gangster. Do you think that any of those guys gave two shits about the average Joe? They didn't give a shit about us. They would put a bullet in our head as quick as they would shake our hand. And then on top of that, these gangsters, they had best friends. They were friends with people their whole life. And then they killed them because they were ordered to kill their best friend. You have mafia guys that were ordered to kill family members and killed family members. So that's the thing. In our head here, we create how great these guys were. It's the mafia. They were what they were. They were psychopathic killers. They were mentally disturbed men. You have to be mentally disturbed to kill another man, especially a friend. Sammy Gravano, perfect example. Look at his, Sammy Gravano took people that were his best friends or his relatives and murdered them. What honor is there in that? None. It's just kind of funny how people glorify these people. And, you got people on here that glorify people, and it's like, do you realize what they did for a living? He said that Junior was a real Teflon Don. He sat with the feds, tried to pin murders on two stand-up guys. Black handprint's opinion holds no weight when there's verified paper. Well, I know who you're talking about, and Joe Watts is one of them. But that'll be interesting to hear. And you know how many times I read that story and I wanted to talk about it? Mark, just so you know, on how much information's on that story out there. And if you talk about it, you're going to be brutalized here. One person will come out and then her minions will come out after you too. Like from every direction. How dare you say that? It's not true. I hear these people say it's not true, even though they know it's true. Just to make people happy. Like we're talking on here, for example, Niel Dellacroce, they'll say, oh, he was a stand-up guy. Niel Dellacroce was a murderer. He was a very wicked man. He had bottomless eyes. They say you look at his eye, he was not a nice man. There's nothing heroic or beautiful about Niel Dellacroce. I mean, come on. If there's a heaven and a hell, we know where he is. Lee, I knew I was, okay, Lee, he knew I was joking because he said, no, I'm joking. Anybody reading it could put up, it was a joke as well, but can't people take, dude, Gianni, you weren't joking, man. You're here and you keep saying, I'll drop you the link. You're more than welcome to come up here and say something to me. But I seen what you said. You know, believe it or not, I actually watch FBS sometimes because he has a good subject going on. But, you know, when I go in there and his big mouth wife has something to say, I leave. But that's okay. And Donnie comes boasting about how his son is working man, not a troll. But then most of the victims playing my son is missing the sympathy stream. Okay. Stack's fate was sealed when the wolf put the Kabbalah spell on him. Hey, John, you made a voodoo doll of me, John. You did a video and you were singing and you were sticking a needle in the voodoo doll, going Lee Cole, Lee Cole. And Sonny Money was watching that video and he was laughing so hard he was rolling on the floor. Adam Kagman, do you remember that video? It was quite funny. That was about 7-8 months ago. That was some real funny shit. I remember how many guys are subs to Brooklyn guys? Quite a few. Quite a few. But who? Go figure it out. Nobody wants to watch fake ghost hunters trying to get attention by using fake ghost apps. Lee, you look like something is troubling you. Let's see. I'm not wanted. My health is okay, except I'm fat. No, actually, I owe no bills. No, there's really nothing bothering me. But Cat Litter TV, great name. Thank you for, and you got Cat Litter there. Oh my God. Why would you say this? I don't think the Smiths, they seem like pretty nice people. Explain yourself, turd bird. Okay, I hate calling you Adam Kadam, so I'm going to call you who you are. John Wolf. Angel Gotti's a real nice person. I'm sure she is at times. Did anybody figure out who the highlight rat is? Nobody's Amber Alert. And here's, okay, I'm glad you brought this up. The biggest rat on all these channels that calls me a rat, and we know who it is, made a statement the other day without researching. He said that I called Eyelight's parole officer. No proof, but that's how he does things. No evidence, nothing. And all he had to do was read the arrest report. He was arrested by the NYPD. It says it in the arrest report. He got no parole violations. He got no probation violation. He was arrested on weapons. His parole officer was not even involved in it. But if this genius read the report, he would know this. But you got to understand, without him saying something about me negatively, he has no show. That's what it comes down to. And I would say that to him. I would say, dude, look, why don't you Just read the arrest report. Everything's in the arrest report. He got arrested by the NYPD. Illegal ammunition, which probably means that he was buying or had dum-dum bullets and weapons, a gun. But here's what's going to happen, though. He will be charged with parole violation, guarantee it. They just haven't charged him yet. They're not the ones that arrested him. It was the NYPD that arrested him. And there's somebody going around in these chat rooms. I believe it's his brother. And he's putting a lot of false information out here, saying that they were after him. He's trying to make him sound like this big gangster in what he's saying. But that's not what happened at all. What his brother's saying or what his friend's saying. And you could read him. He writes, when I did the video, he wrote underneath a bunch of stuff trying to discredit what I reported. But he was lying. Homeland Security wasn't involved. That's what the brother's saying. Homeland Security's involved. They weren't involved. It was the NYPD that arrested him. And then they claiming that he's out, that they let him out. I don't see any evidence that he's out of prison or jail. I mean, but I can't say no because we're talking New York City, where they're letting everybody out of jail. They're not. They're letting killers out. They're letting murderers out in New York. So why wouldn't they let him out? It wouldn't surprise me at all. It wouldn't surprise me if he's out already. It wouldn't surprise me if he showed up on a show tonight. But I have a feeling that he may have been ordered not to go online because a lot of the stuff that he said was online. When you're talking about drugs, having guns, having weapons, and you are on parole for another year, it's just not too smart. And the guy will tell you how smart he is all the time. And it's always the guys that tell you how smart they are that aren't smart. And we know two guys that do that here. If you have to brag that you're smart, that usually means you're not. Okay, here's another fan of mine, people. Cocks in my ear. Okay, you got a cock in your ear. Okay. This guy is such a clown. He can't spell, wants us to take him serious. 146 people here right now. Cock in your ear. But see, this is when, out of everything, people, I'm going to tell you what. My biggest enjoyment out of doing these shows are people like cock in my ear. The people that hate me, the people that come in here and will say what a terrible person I'm in, but they're here. Or how about the people that you see from 6 o'clock in the morning to 12 o'clock at night, or 1 o'clock in the morning, you'll see them on 10 shows. It's like, really? 10 shows? What the fuck are you doing on 10 shows? Niel was indicted for the commission case, but died before he could be prosecuted. That's true. Why would the feds charge their inside guy who's supposedly snitching? Total BS. He never informed Tony Montana. That's a great point. And here's what I said about that story. They also used the excuse that his handler died at the age of 50. Just read the story. I mean, it's horribly written. And I'll show you the documents tomorrow to prove that this is what the FBI does to people. And I'm not standing up for any other people. I'm not standing up for people that are shelved on the street. And there's actual evidence of them being rats. I'm not talking about those people. Adam Cain exposed the criminal organization embedded MobTube with video and shows. I'll tell you what, man. I love his shit. And he goes after me, too. He might even do a video after this. But his shit's funny. If the Smiths had their way, Caitlyn Jenner would be president. Hey, listen, would you rather have Joe Biden or Caitlyn Jenner be president? Think about that. Can anything be worse for president than what we have right now? Can anything? Yeah, that's the show. Mooney Dash Cam. That is a great show. I mean, that's one of the shows that I have, I've subscribed to, and it's just a great show. And I got great news for you too. Al's back. And I put his link to his new show. And Al said he's going to stay away from the mob stuff. But let's call out Al, give him another chance. And Al says he did a video today, and he made a lot of sense in the video. He kind of regrets getting involved with the mob stuff and taking sides and all that. He says he's very honest, so you really should take a look at that. I love that name. I'm sub to everyone. I'm in the mob genre. I take no sides, and this is YouTube. I had no bearing in real life, no friends on the tube. I like that, Tommy. That's pretty good. FBS or Loman, those are the ones who wrote I like parole officer. Hey, listen, Mark, we don't know that. To be honest. I think he took himself down. You got to remember, he was online talking all this shit about weapons and drugs, and he's on parole. You can tell by the size of his head, his brain's not too big. So, I mean, and then another thing, FBS made a statement that I was friends with this guy. I went on his show twice, 2-3 times. And then about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, I stopped going on his show because of the things he was saying. Like he's a Mason. He seemed very racist, that he didn't like white people. There were a lot of things that he said that kind of turned me off, so I stopped going on his show. And then I went on his show the very last time when he came out and said that New Beginnings was Marbrat's exposed. And we know that's not true. That's the last time. And he was talking shit about the Latin Kings. That's the last time I went on his show. But up to that, I wasn't on his show for a couple of months because of the things that he's saying that is so far-fetched. There's no way that any of it can be true. I don't agree with FBS about much. I don't think he's a nice person. But the one thing I always agreed with FBS on is that iLight was a fake. And if iLight came in here right now, I would tell him that he was a fake. Probably 90% of what he said, he ran with the Bananos. Really? I remember he was knocking, saying that he said he ran with Bananos and never seen Gene Barillo or and he said that that a few people like Ronnie G and stuff were nothing in the Bananos, that he hung out with the big guys in the Bananos. So once he started saying that stuff, it was so far-fetched. That's when I stopped going on his show. But you'll hear FBS the other day act like we were friends up until that moment he got arrested. But that's low information on that show. He doesn't do research on anything. He didn't do research whatsoever on who arrested and what charges iLight was arrested on. He did not research it. It's very easy. You can go right online and get it. Okay, I'm going to try to catch up here. Let's see what time it is. Okay, I'm going to catch up to 1 o'clock here, people. If I go by you, I just noticed somebody came on here with there's a new name, iLight's PO officer. fucking people, man. I'm going to drop the invite if anybody wants to come in to the show. Okay, Anthony, how you doing? Grant heard people say he's forced a couple other guys to plead guilty, though. Junior admits, okay, you guys are still on Junior. Wow, Junior's a popular dude. I was never met to men. Men do that all the time, getting in and out of the sauna. Okay, we're talking about men getting in and out of sauna showers. Come on, guys. Lakeisha Smith, Lee, love this channel. Lakeisha, I appreciate that. Because a lot of people will say it's the biggest piece of shit in the world. Okay, I'm trying to go. Okay, Amber, I don't blame the mods as much as FBS. She was doing her thing with a lot of the same mods and wasn't talking about. Then she started talking to them again. The problem with the mods, sometimes mods have personal vendettas against certain people. And they don't think about the shows that they're modding for, and they'll start blocking people. And I've taken some mods out of my channel that do that. I don't give a shit if you're modding for me. I don't want you to get, like, because you're mad at somebody, blocking them. You know, a mod shouldn't be blocking people unless they have legitimate reasons to block them. If someone comes in here and says some bad shit to me, I don't care. Unless they say really bad shit, you know, where you go above and beyond. If you stay away from these stories, then you're failing, man. Do the stories, don't let them win. I agree with you, Fat Ball, and that's the problem. And that's why I like to hear from you guys. I want you guys to tell me what to do. Because what people tell me in my chat room, on my channel, I'm going to listen to over anything. Do you know, we listen to these other shows and people are so mad that you guys are in here with me, hanging out. And they think like we're all a bunch of retards. But they don't understand. We think they're retards. You know, that's just the way it goes. And then you got some people in these chat rooms that go to all the chat rooms. They don't give a shit. You know, but you know, it's gotten ridiculous here, people. Like, okay, you've seen this show. So what do you think's going to happen tonight? You know, we know what's going to happen tonight. We know exactly what's going to happen tonight. It's so predictable. I do my shows in the afternoon because I'm being kind to them and I'm giving them content for the night. So the show tonight will be Lee Cole goes after Niel Dellacroce. That will be the show tonight. You know, but they won't explain what the show was about. You know, they just want to make it sound like, you know, this show is basically more about how the feds can make anybody look like a rat and get away with it. And they do it to this day. When the feds arrest people, they sit them down and they literally threaten them with, well, we'll just tell people you're a rat. And that's how they get a lot of them to flip. I don't know what you mean by that. Let's see. I can't wait to see Vinny Bracco go on Angel's show tonight or tomorrow. Well, they've been getting attacked pretty hard by Angel, so it'd be interesting to see. And I don't even see what the hell they said wrong. But you see, that's what I mean, people. You can't say nothing here. You'll get attacked, you know, by one person and her lackey. And we know who the lackeys are. You know, they got this little bond. They all come after you. I'm not touching that, dude. Have you seen Casso's house? It looks like Long John Silver's headquarters. I haven't seen it, so if you want to explain that, go right ahead. Doc Adams. Angel is nice but slow. Well, Angel's a smart woman. I'm sorry, Doc. I can't agree with you there. I think Angel's a very smart woman. I think she's too smart. Lee, it's your show. Keep improving your content. Don't let the other idiots control what you do. I'm fascinated by the mafia, but no, they're all heartless killers, and your detractors love them. Yes, and they are all heartless killers. They're they're mafia guys. They terrorize neighborhoods. I'll give you an example, and I'm not going to say the name, but there was a certain person that comes from a very famous name that got arrested for dealing pain pills. He was arrested for dealing 4,100 pain pills a month in the neighborhood that he lived. But you don't ever hear that story. Romano, I don't see no face. You've never been on here. Can't bring you on. Sorry. Lee, it's Neil would bitch slap the woke out of them. Absolutely, without a doubt. Most of these mobsters would bitch. Can you imagine if John Gotti knew that there was a woke guy running around with a poster behind him? Can you imagine that? He'd be so ashamed. Definitely a very large statement to him. Coming back. Well, listen, did you guys, matter of fact, the other day, Gunsmoke did a show, and his sentence was, Lee Cole's a effing rat. That was his sentence, bastard, or something like that. That's the intelligence level of him. That guy, quite possibly, may be the stupidest guy on all of YouTube in this genre. But one thing he did smart, he didn't show up at Eyelight's house because Eyelight's crazy. Eyelight's would shoot you or stab you, there's no doubt. Brian, I appreciate that. Thank you. John Riley, lead other drug trade already illegal. What businesses do the families control or substantially controlled today? I think that most of the stuff they control now. Hold on one second. Polly, get over here. My dog Polly, she's feeling a little bit better today. I think most of the stuff now is online. But as for drugs, they don't. No, we all know who controls drugs now: the United States government and the Mexican mafia. All the woke brigade are busy bashing Russia at the moment, while Russia kicks Nazi ass in Ukraine. You know, that Ukraine-Russia thing. Once again, we're being programmed how to think in this country. We're already told who the bad guy is and who the good guy is. But you know what people need to do is they need to sit down and study what's exactly going on between Ukraine and Russia. You got to give the Ukrainian people a lot of credit, though, because Russia has another Afghanistan. They, once again, what did Russia do? Russia doesn't seem to understand that when you go into another country, especially a place like Ukraine, you're going to fight door to door in Ukraine. You could bomb the hell out of Ukraine, but in the end, you're going to have to go into the city and fight hand-to-hand combat. And they're learning that's what's happening right now. So Putin is in big trouble now because Ukraine's fighting a lot better than people thought that he was just going to march right in and take the country over. Russia's army is not the monster that people think it is. Russia's army is 1/10 this. I'm not talking about man-wise. I'm talking about weapon-wise. Like, they have no navy. Russia's navy is a joke. Their navy cannot even compare to us. You know, even China's Navy can't compare to us. Sure, they have many more men, but they don't have the Navy we have. And people think that Russia's this tremendous army. It's not. You know, and they have great weapons, but a shitload of their planes are being shot down right now, and they're having a hard time. You know, once again, the media wants to make it sound like Russia's this massive military that this is not the Russia from 1960. This is the modern day Russia from broken up. All these little countries broke out of them years ago, and they're having trouble with the Ukraine. Can you imagine them going to war with the United States? It wouldn't be a war, people. The one thing they have, though, as a deterrent is nuclear weapons. And that's why the other day Putin mentioned he's putting his nukes on high alert. Because that's the one thing they have to scare people. Their military scares no one. Their military is a joke. It would not, there's several armies in this world that would destroy Russia's military like it was nothing. You know, let's remember who runs Russia. The Mafia. The Russian Mafia runs Russia. And they run Ukraine too. What you have is a big mob. You want to talk Mafia stuff right now. You got the Ukrainian Mafia fighting the Russian Mafia. That's pretty much what it comes down to, because that's who controls both those countries. Advocated for defunding the police. Yes, he did. He also argued police weren't as much heroes as anybody that ever says defund the police. Can you even think about that one? How stupid it sounds. Perpetual motion. I don't need you as a friend. I have enough friends. John Gotti to his 12-year-old grandson. Yep. That was, I believe that was in jail, wasn't it? Perpetual motion. I think Chicago Muscle and Miss Can't Be Wrong are trying to start a troll civil war. Chicago Muscle's not really a troll. When you go out that far out, I don't consider him a troll. I consider him a very disturbed human being. Joey Electric, Chicago Muscle's our favorite window licker. We've had a study 150 in here for about an hour now. Thank you, guys. That's why, when you come in and you see 90, it never stays there. It always goes up. There's some shows that do that. Joey Electric, we pull also strings, also doesn't have. Okay. I sort of like Muscle. He is savaging that pizza. Okay, come YouTube manhandle. Angel, how dare you spread misinformation? My Uncle Neil was no informant. I hope to God that's not you already in here. And once again, she probably just read the thing if it is her, and she probably never listened to the show. Yes, Adam, they are all agendas. I can't watch, can't be wrong muscle talk. They talk like old friends. They know each other. They have an agenda, my friend. Yes, a lot of people here have an agenda. I can honestly say I have no agenda. I'm in here by myself. There's no agenda whatsoever. I don't ask you guys for money, but if you want to give it to me, I'll take it. But I don't ask you guys for computers. I got a lot more class than that. The guy they make fun of and the old man they make fun of has more class than they could ever have. Some Irish surnames from Germanic roots when the Scandinavia settled there many years ago. Yes. I don't think Neil was a rat. That's slander. Once again, Big Lou, did you listen to the show from the very beginning? It's not, I slandered a mobster. I slandered a killer. I'm such a bad man. Joe Electric. I bet this mom regretted not getting an abortion when she gave birth to him. What do you know, Lee? You don't know anything about Gangsters Lee, Mad Dog Cole. Okay. So Big Lou is one of those losers from you know whose room or chat room or show. But you know what, Big Lou? Do you notice that we're not blocking you? You can sound as stupid as you want in here and we'll let you. Yes, Big Paul did kill his own son-in-law. No, was it son? Oh, was it son-in-law or daughter's boyfriend? James Jameson. And I believe that he had what's his name do it? The crazy guy. Not her. She did a show about Niel not being related to them and Rogerios. Well, do you guys remember when I said that that Niel was related to Rogerio and I got attacked for that? And yet, if you go online, you could read it in 1,000 places where they were related. So, you know, who the fuck knows? And if that was Angel in here, now she has her show for tonight. But I don't know if that was Angel. Hey, could you guys check to see if that's the real one? Please. I got a list. You got a list of what? This ain't Bay 8th. Lee, people hate me because of you and I'm scared. I like the first movie. The movie with John Travolta was a piece of shit. What a horrible movie. John Travolta as John Gotti. I mean, can you pick anybody worse to be John Gotti than John Travolta? Armand DeSanti, he was the perfect guy to play John Gotti. But that, you know, a movie's only as good as its casting. And when you cast a guy like Travolta, first of all, he's a very popular actor. You don't put someone that popular to play a guy like John Gotti. You use someone that's like a B actor, and Armand DeSanti was a B actor. And, you know, a great actor, but he was always he wasn't the lead actor. He was always the backup actor. I think even John Jr. killed puppies as a child. She would somehow justify it with spine Reddick. You know, well, listen, I gave him some shows tonight, so I'm happy. I just don't understand how many content creators would hesitate to post up a story that they want to do. Not an opinion, just a story to say an article. I personally would post whatever I want. Come on, Tommy. Sometimes I see you back away from things, Tommy. I'm just saying, you may disagree with me. Let's see. Mark. The Gottis made a mockery out of Costa Nostra for the better or worse, not the father. You know, people could say whatever they want, but John Gotti went to prison for 20 years and died. And that's one thing he'll always be known for, as that kind of guy, a tough guy. Nobody can ever take that from him. Adam, Lee, and FBS both watch each other all. You know what's funny? FBS says he never watches me. Then he talks about the show I did. He's been doing that a lot lately. I guess the bachelor's degree was easy to earn, Lee, because you still can't spell. Understand the importance of grammar. Hello, people. I am 61 fucking years old. Where the hell is understanding grammar going to get me now? Okay, I'm sorry. I had to say that. Is Angel a registered Democrat now? I know she claims that she supported Trump, but the chat suggests otherwise. If you are a Trump person and you're friends with a Trump hater, you really got to question yourself, because of the fact that Trump haters are horrible people. They're just not good people. And they think, I'll give you an example. The truckers are talking about going to Washington now, Washington, D.C. And they put the fences back up. Like the truckers are going to go there and attack people. That's the society we're living in. And everybody knows the truckers aren't going to hurt nobody. They're hardworking people. They work 50, 60 hours a week driving across the country. And all they want to do is stand up for the truckers that are being abused in Canada. And they're putting the fences back up. Would they put those fences back up if BLM was there? Would they put those fences back up if any of those freak groups, these killer groups that lit cities on fire? This is why it's all bullshit, people. It's all bullshit. John Wolf, I want to do an info commercial about Agenda 2030 and how to invest your money to become wealthy for a great reset. You know something? I was thinking about this, Adam. I'm sorry, John Wolf. I used to invest a lot in Walmart stock. I was with a woman for 10 years, and she was a manager at Walmart, and we used to be able to buy it at half price. Back then, you can get a share. One share was like $30 of Walmart, and I was checking it today, and it's $135, $140, and it's going down a little bit. So, and just think about it. Stocks are up so much that every one of us could have been millionaires if we went out and bought even cheap stock. But it's going to be interesting to see how many people are going to get burned with the interest and stuff they have out there right now, especially with the market's going to crash. It's getting ready to crash. Lee, you think Putin is bluffing? He better be bluffing. I mean, if he shoots off nukes, he's going to be destroyed. He'll be hit from every angle. He'll be hit from Europe, England, the United States, France. I mean, Russia will be gone. Right? It's going to hurt a lot of people, but Russia will definitely be gone. That whole side of the world will be gone. And a good portion of the United States would be gone. And if you live in New York City, you got big problems. You're going. Lee FBS gets names correct, and he has some sense of how to entertain. Lee just gets names wrong, talks mobs for 5 seconds, then complains about FBS. But let me ask you a question, though. You use hello people. Are you that addicted to me that you have to write this in here and tell us what a legend FBS is, and you have hello people as your name? Thank you. Fucking assholes. Mark, Adam Canham, do a factual video on Junior and see how nice. Yeah, John, I dare you to do a video. You're kind of like, you like to do videos on me. You pick and choose who you go after, John. You're not the same John you used to be. You used to have bigger balls. Now you pick and choose who you go after. You're getting kind of soft, if you ask me. I'm an easy target, but do you ever go after anybody that you know is going to come back at you viciously? You don't go after me. You go after me, John, because you know I'm not going to come back at you because I actually like you. But believe me, if you did a video that someone didn't like, they would go after you viciously. I mean, just look the other day. Vinny and Bay 8 said something, and 2 days ago she did a show on it. It was me and them two, and they didn't even do anything wrong. Me, I do. Me, I don't blame her for going after me. God bless her. But going after Vinny don't really bother nobody. I can understand going after Bay 8th. you know. Grant Calder, my only issue with the cult-like behavior that goes on with them forever trying to give people, telling off in chats, all the specky hot dogs that want to insert themselves into the situation. It's amazing, people. It's just amazing. You know, when you can't say what you want because people get their little feelings hurt, it's amazing. You know, I'm at the point now where I don't even give a shit what they say anymore. I don't give a shit when she does shows on me. Nothing. I don't care. And you know what they don't get? I'm not going to shut up. I'm too old to shut the fuck up. Adam, if you're on parole, don't do any gaudy videos. Don't be mailing. Okay, Mark. Supposedly that's me. Check this out. You know, like, well, you all know the gene thing. They're still saying it, but you know, I talked to him on the phone for a half hour today, and we were laughing our ass off about it. And why? Because people can't tell you who you could be friends with. And it's like I always said, Gene is a rough guy. There's no doubt about it. As a matter of fact, our conversation was, I'll tell you, it was kind of funny. Gene, don't get mad, but I got to talk about this. His girlfriend was visiting him from Florida. And she went home early because they had an argument. But I was just talking to him because she's a really, really good looking woman. But women that like guys like Gene, you gotta, you know, there's just certain type of women. They like those kind of guys. So those women are kind of crazy too. But, you know, people, he's always been, you know, he's done nothing to me ever since this whole thing went in a different direction. And it's easy for people to say, you know, listen, I don't agree with anything he did when it came to ratting on people. But I have no issues with him right now. That could change tomorrow. And with that, you're going to have some big surprises coming up in June, people. You think that things are kind of rough right now? Come June, the whole ball game changes. FBS made, yep. Well, you know, cat litter. Someone called the cops on I like no matter what. No one called the cop on him. Once again, cat litter. He got busted by the NYPD. And most likely it was because he was bragging about stuff online. You know, if you are on parole, do not do that stuff. You know, the cops are going to come to your house. You know, or his PO called the NYPD. Yeah, you know, and it's easy for people nowadays. Parole officers and probation officers, they check up on their clients all the time online. That's how they keep track of them to see what they're doing. And for a guy that just got out of prison for manslaughter to be talking the way he was talking is incredibly stupid. Let's not make excuses. Okay, once again, I got to catch up here. The Straight Talker, Lee, you're crushing it. Keep up the good work. I have seen a few of your recent works. You have taken a major turn for the better. Oh, people, that's Al right there. So make sure you go to Al's new show, The Straight Talker, it's called. I'll put the link up for him and give him a chance. You know, Al had his ups and downs, but he's going in the right direction. I've had my ups and downs. Everybody's had their ups and downs on here, people. Grant, do you really think that I know who was in the chat? Hey, listen, I'll drop you the invite. Hey, Eighth, I'll drop you the invite. Come on in and talk about it. Don't be scared, Bayath. You know, he's a little bit nervous, though. You know, he doesn't like to come in my show sometimes because certain people tell him not to come in here. Right, Bayath? Right, Joe? That should piss him off. That should get him in here. Okay. The Smiths won't cancel anyone with their 20 subscribers. How about the fact that that other show, people are starting the show, the ones whose their grandparents or whatever lived above the Raven Knight. I can't wait to tune into that. Whether info is correct or not, Angel has her beliefs and naturally feels defensive. She does treat her chat room good and is very tolerant with her comment. So we're the same way here. So we can't do shows, Kelly. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but everybody has the right to do their shows and be left alone. The only people that should be attacking us here are the people that disagree with us, not other content makers. Content makers should do their own shit, and other people should mind their damn business, what they do. John Wolf just threatened me, people. Trust me, Lee, you will allow something to slip out of your mouth today for me to make another video about you. Hey, John, did you ever think that that's my goal? I need a good laugh. I love when you do videos on me. What was the video you did the other day? That I ran from a debate from FBS. Anybody that knows me knows he could jump in here right now. I'm not going it's not hard to find me. Not hard at all. And we don't block people in here. Anybody can come in here. Anybody could jump on here anytime they want. Angel Gotti came in here the other day and we let her on. It was that simple. Angel Gotti's, I don't know about it. Well, being the black sheep of the family is not always a bad thing. I think Angel Gotti's more like her father than anybody in the family, to be honest with you. She fights. And once again, I'll say, Angel Gotti is tougher than any of these other people that come after me. Any of them. If you get caught doing a crime and you're on parole, you're not getting out of jail right away. Yeah, you know what? Usually you'd be right, but we're talking about New York City. That's the problem. How many times do we hear about New York City letting murderers out and they go out and kill somebody? That's, that's why anytime you hear about someone getting arrested in New York, you don't know whether they're going to get out or not. You just don't know. BK, Big Lou, the two-faced clown, always got something to say. Oh, BK, he's like a joke. He's like a little bitch boy. We know that. John, you just threatened me now. You said Lee Cole's show is ground zero for MobTube. Fucking John. That will be a great video, Vinny. Okay. Okay, I'll admit it. I have to be been bashing the Smiths out of my own disdain for the left, but I really hate their beliefs and especially what they did to Grant. Hey, listen. Grant's a friend of this show, and if you guys are in here and you're friends with Grant and someone goes after him, you should stick up for him because, Grant has his beliefs. And he's very loyal. Very, very loyal. And I think Grant is the most hated non-content creator on all these channels. The way they go after him. Definitely, he took himself down, without a doubt. He did. And if he went out and purchased a gun, wow. You're talking New York City. The only thing New York City will go after you for is having a gun because there's it's so leftist there. They don't want nobody having guns except criminals. So maybe he will get out. Okay, Mark, she's a grandma. Who are you talking about, Bay 8th? Are you talking about the grandma that's been going after you? Frank Draven, what's up? I give you credit for coming on live stream that day, bro. FBS put up a post saying highlights real name and that he was on parole on his live stream. That's how the name and number got out there. They even put up his parole number. One of the people in this chat room put up his parole number. And they're good at that. They do it all the time. Remember who the first person to be doxxed on here was? Yeah, Jeff Nadeau. Let's see you have the balls to put that title up. Okay? And Jeff Nadeau, you would do a great show on that. Because, listen to the show tomorrow and the other documents I'm going to show to prove how much they're full of crap. But I think that you'd get your 10,000 views on it and you would do a really great job on it. I will go live with Angel and put her straight, but she will shout and knock me off the stream. Yep. If you have anything negative to say on these other streams, you get knocked off. You don't last long. They'll let you say one, maybe two things. Then the wrench whore, and we know who the wrench whore is. There's one wrench whore on all of MobTube. And I'll give you a hint. The only people he likes are the one. If you don't want to be knocked off a show that the wrench whore is taking care of, go in with a woman's name and go, "Hi, wrench whore." Then he loves you. He'll be following you around, stalking you from one show to the next. That's it. You know how to get to him. I did not know this, Adam. Can you do a video on it, please? Has people noticed that Jimmy Calandra has been doing really good lately because he's been staying out of the mix? He hasn't been showing up in that other person's show too much to hurt his credibility. And he's been doing strictly shows. And he's doing better now than he has been in a long time. And a lot of that, I think that if Jimmy does his own shit, he'll blow us all away. He's already doing it. He has 22,000 followers. 22,000 subs. So Jimmy and I, we've had our problems, but kudos to Jimmy, the way he's taken that show lately. It's gotten really good. That's just my opinion, people. You may not agree with me, but I'm just saying the show's gotten really good. I can't believe I'm calling out his show. Wow. Mentally ill. I have issues. I made all my Twitter and FB troll bones torturing lefties off the platform to the point. Well, the lefties know they got one safety zone. They got one territory they can run to. That's it. And that's where they go. If you want to avoid the lefties, you know where they are. I'd rather be a radical, righty, Trump-loving, than be a lefty. Look what the leftists have been given control of this country. They have an opportunity to do something good. In 1 year, this guy has been the worst president ever. And his inflation rates are as bad as Jimmy Carter's. The inflation rates right now at the same level as 1982. And that, and let's remember what happened right around that time. You had Reagan come into office with the inflation levels. They were out of control. And then Reagan had to fix everything. But That's this president's he's not even a president. I'm sorry. The people around him, I got to stop calling him he's the old feeble man that doesn't know where he is. That's who he is. I'm sorry. And some people say, don't talk politics. Don't talk bad about the president. He's not the president, people. He's an old feeble man that comes up to he's supposed to do the State of the Union. How many people want to see that? Do you think they're going to inject something to give him a little boost, and he's going to come out and do the State of the Union? What is it, tomorrow? How afraid are they that this guy is going to go do the State of the Union? I never thought we'd be here. The rest of the world's got to be laughing their ass off that this guy's the president. They got to be laughing their ass off. I don't know if you guys remember the G8 summit when Trump was at the G8 summit. Remember when they were walking on stage and some guy was standing in front of Trump? He took his arm and pushed the guy behind him. That's the kind of president I want. When you seen Biden doing that, he was the last one in line. He was following everybody around. He didn't even know where he was. I want a president that's going to take the person next to him and say, get the hell behind me. A-Light read a lot of Mafia books. He knows a lot of names. Oh, you know what? He's a mob historian. That's where his strength is. He's a mob historian. He knows names, all that shit. And that's how come a lot of stuff he says ain't true, because he talks so fast. He doesn't think. It's like he's a programmed robot, and he just comes out and says it. The straight talker, you're not a hero we deserve, but you're the hero we need. I like that. I didn't see you talk bad about her family, Vinny, neither. I don't care for Vinny. Hello. Who's this? I'm on my show. Are you coming in? You're not going to say nothing silly, are you? No. Okay, I'll trust you. Okay. That's our good buddy, Jeff. Okay, 1 second. He wants to come in, so I'm going to put the link down for him. Jeff's going to get hell for coming in. You're going to get hell for coming in here, They're going to go, Jeff Nadeau's friends with Lee Cole now. Okay, Jeff, there's the link. Just grab it and come on in. I don't mind. Sure did. Absolutely sure did. And we all know that. The wrenches do control chats, and they ruin it. They are anti-First Amendment. Yep, we're not that here, Adam. The only time, okay, we're going to bring on a very, he's been doing a great job with his show. Well, let's bring on Jeff.
Lee, how are you?
Good. How you doing today?
Pretty good. Pretty good. What's happening?
Yeah, well, you know something? I kind of, when this show is over, I'm going to go work on my thumbnail.
Well, yeah, Lee, I don't know where you got. I have to look into that story, to be honest.
No, actually, it's a two-part story.
Okay.
Yeah, the first part is the story that was written. Tomorrow, I'm going to show documents that prove it wrong.
Got you. That was very catchy, very tease-like of you and your.
Oh, I got yelled at, sworn at, cursed at. You name it.
That's good, Lee. That's what you want. You want people talking about you.
Yeah.
But hey, I just wanted to address, from what I've heard from you, there's a little video going around of me talking about a certain body part of mine.
Yes, you were claiming that you had a very large penis.
Well, look, that's I don't want to get too many women excited, but listen, Lee, I wasn't lying. I just wanted to say I shouldn't have said that on the air. I got a little, little too private, let's just say.
Hey, if you're a tripod, you should brag about it.
Yep. Exactly. And I know many are jealous. It's okay. Many of you would trade your lives with me. It's okay. Thank you.
Jeff, I'd like to ask you one question while you're here.
Okay, sure.
Now you're doing really well, and you've
Yeah.
been busting your ass.
Thank you.
Everything proves that you're being straight. And then you have these assholes that come at you with this every day about your subs.
Hmm.
What is your opinion on that?
Listen, let me tell you something, Lee, about a lion. A lion doesn't care about the monkey in the tree. He just keeps worrying about the other lions out there. I'm not worried about rejects. That will never be me. It's that simple. I don't care, Lee. I don't address these people. I'm not going to give them the satisfaction of bringing their names up. They don't mean anything to me. I will pass them just like everyone else I've passed. I've done this a long time. I strictly, Lee, make money off content. I don't have a job. Okay. This is my job. When you can say that, then contact me and let me know. Okay. Other than that, I just worry about my videos and do my content.
Your room looks different.
Maybe because it's during the day. I don't know.
Oh, it looks bigger, like it's further back. I thought
Well,
maybe you moved your studio or something.
No. I'm about to move. I'm actually, many believe I live with my mother and father. So I've got to change that.
You know something though? People are lucky when they're your age and they can live with their mother and father.
Yeah, I wouldn't though. I love my mother and father, but I couldn't live with them past 18, you know.
Yeah.
Just
Don't you hate when you hear that shit? Like,
yeah, because it's like, well, I mean, these are the same people that will not show their face on camera. They're not like these. It's really odd, this genre. Very hypocritical people. Like I don't get it. It's odd. But Lee, listen, you and I have had our issues, but you know, you've always contacted me. We talk about it. There are certain people on here that make claims, you know, very slanderous claims against me that they can't back up whatsoever. And I call them, they don't answer. So listen, at the end of the day, we can say and be whoever we want on the internet. At the end of the day, you know what? Don't lie, Lee. Numbers.
yeah, exactly. You hit it right on the button.
So I thank you for letting me come on. And that's not why I came on. I just really wanted to say hello and to apologize for the perverted talk.
Hey, listen, you're just one of those little guys that are hung like a bull. God bless you.
Well, Lee, listen, I'll say this. You can't win on the internet. I've told you that, haven't I? Many times. For instance, last night, Lee, I went out to dinner with a beautiful woman. Okay. I could show you pictures, whatever. But what they'll say is, that's not really his girl. He bought her. Proof will come out that I didn't buy anything. Maybe I'm just a good guy with a big ass dick.
Maybe when you go out with a woman, you're going to buy him whether you're married to him or not.
Well said, Lee. That's why you've been married 3 times. You know what?
You hit it on the button.
Hey, listen, a guy that doesn't get any women hasn't been married 3 times. Lee's a G. Everybody knows that. Playboy. Yeah. Playboy Lee.
You take care, my man.
See ya.
Okay, well that's nice when Jeff comes on because he wanted to fill us in about his penis. So now you guys have an idea. You can close your eyes and think about it. Okay, people. You know, I love a show when it starts off, you don't know which direction it's going to go, and then it gets interesting. When guys like Bay Eighth's afraid to come on today. You know, I keep dropping him the link, but you know, sometimes he gets kind of nervous. He gets scared because he's afraid that his little buddies around him are going to be upset. So he'll avoid me. Right, Bay Eighth? But anyway, but you got Jeff who just doesn't give a shit. Jeff has his own thing going on. He's doing really well. People say shit about him continuously, but he's blowing them away. You know, that's what it comes down to. And you guys remember me and Jeff, we've had our debates and went at it. I mean, FBS set us up one time and he got maybe 10,000 views out of the debate between Jeff and I. So it was a funny debate too. And that's why you people, you know, I know how to debate very well. So, you know, that's just bullshit. People in their head, they want to think about how smart they are. But like I said, my show's open. Anybody that comes in here will come on here if they ask me to put them up. Unless they have other, when I talked about stealing my signal, I said it wrong because I'm an old guy. What I meant He was shooting my show. He was taking my show and he was going to play it for his audience. And if you're going to come into my show, bring your people in here with you. Okay? It's that simple. I would never go into your show and do that to you. Never. I've never done that. MRE did that to me one time and he apologized for doing it because he knew he was wrong. The only time I ever struck at another show was when that was done. Because it's wrong. You don't do it. You know, you just don't do it. And the night that MRE did that to me, I had John A. Light on. And I had a really big audience that night. But when he was doing that, he took a large portion of my audience and put it into his room. So that really affected my numbers. And we had an issue. And then if you guys remember, we really started going at it for about a month. But we put that all to rest. MRE's a great guy. That was just a big mistake. And you'll never hear me say nothing negative about MRE ever. But he was man enough to at least apologize to me about it. And he did it right away, which was cool. And that's why I respect the guy so much. Ross, there's nothing but Ghostbusters PC cult dedicated to Angel and FBS and their chat shit and insert them. You know, for people that claim that they're not lefties, they sure do hang around with a lot of them. Butchie Bifocals, Pinkfield Miss, Can't Be Wrong, are the worst than Carlos. They're worse than Carlos? You know what gets me? That pounding the pink veil thing. It's so nasty, you know. And to have that name in a chat with a woman that's on the show, it's just nasty. Just the thought of it, it's like, okay, I've been on 2 hours, a couple more minutes, and then I'm going to take off here, people. Oh, Lee is all for pain relief. Yes, I'm on 5 pain pills right now, people. I'm all juiced up. I wish, actually, today is one of those days I wish I did have a pain pill because I'm in a lot of pains. I got one knee that's, the other knee is pretty bad. And it hurts like a mother today. I really do wish I had a pain pill to take for it. MTR and A-Light made a video with no shirts and whipped cream. Lee call 3. Go see the masturbate video. Okay, that sounds pretty nasty, dude. I don't even think I would want to see it. Oh my gosh. It's going to be good. It just came from running a few errands. Okay, sure. FBS was mocking I-Light. I-Light replied. FBS contacted. I really don't think that he did, people. I hate to say that. I think he would, but I don't think he did. I think I-Light was his own worst enemy. And that's what I believe. And there's somebody running around right now they're putting a lot of false shit out in the chat rooms. Ignore it. It's false. It's all lies about, why he's trying to make it sound like a cop had a vendetta for I-Light and stuff. No, I-Light just isn't too smart. Gunsmoke, top simp would blow a man quick for a Mafia kissy. But when he got called out by I-Light, he literally disappeared. He's like one of those guys that he's tough behind a keyboard. He's tough making videos. He's tough talking shit, but he's one of those guys who would never say nothing to nobody's face. Yeah. Right, Gunsmoke? You're just a pussy. Your strength is still extortion, mooching from small Italian on. If any businesses now give their money to the mob, they're foolish. I mean, why? There's cameras everywhere. They can't do shit to you no more. Nothing is happening right now. Where's all of the homemade videos of this invasion? MB, how you feel about MTR? Well, I don't. Only I like can stop Putin. No, I like will tell you that he used to be in the Russian army. He's part of the Russian military. This is interesting. Pablo Escobar, Barry Seal, CIA, Mena, Arkansas, Slick Willie Clinton, and the 70 tons of coke. Yep. A lot of people don't talk about those runways and stuff in Arkansas when he was governor and how the planes landed there. You know, and he still got into the White House, even though the media knew this. Mark, that guy's channel was taken down. Figures he was going hard. I'm here calling them out. That guy can't stand. Whose channel was taken down? Tim Reed. You blew it with FBS, you clown, and now Angel hates you. Laugh out loud. Channel going down. Okay. Is that the real Tim Reed? Don't be foolishly. The Russian war is unwinnable. I believe that anytime a country has nuclear weapons, the war is close to unwinnable. But if you put Russia's military on the same playing field with our military, it would be over in days. That's what I'm trying to say, James. It would not be a long war. Their military, people, all you got to do is go online, pull up their military and check it. It's vastly overrated. It's nothing that people say it is. If it was, they wouldn't be having the trouble they're having right now. They're having supply lines cut off. Why would you go to battle? One thing about the United States, they made a lot of mistakes doing stupid wars, but they never let the Taliban cut off their supply lines. That's stuff you figure out before you go to battle. So they go into Ukraine and they don't figure out not to have their supply lines. The most important part of battle is your supply line. That's what wins battles or wars. And the Russians went in there, and the men that went in, the Russian men, weren't even told that they were going to go in. So the Ukrainians and the Russians have a lot in common. They're almost identical type people, and they're being asked to attack. That would be like the United States attacking Canada, or vice versa. Okay, I'm going to jump up ahead here, read a few of these, and then I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to do that soon, observe and report. I like to have Gunner back. He's a great guest. These protests are all planned by police unions, other big government social. You know what, John Wolf, I like your brother, but some of your philosophies are like kind of out there. I doubt very much the police unions are working with these organizations. That's just my opinion. I think you would go off his head. I think FBS the helmet would be sleeping with the fishes. Okay. You're going a little bit too far, Leroy. Not all Trump haters are evil. Some don't like Trump for a reason. MRE later to any. Listen, Miles Nunez, I'm going to say what I want to say. If you disagree with me, you're more than welcome to disagree. But we're in a country right now where if you say you like Trump, people either like you or hate you. There's no in between. If Putin lets off nukes, yeah, James Jameson, you're probably right. And what's left of the world wouldn't be pretty. Some don't like Trump for reasons. Okay, well, Okay. Read a couple more and I'm out of here, people. I've been on for 2 hours, over 2 hours. Okay. And I appreciate everybody that's been here today. And thank you. If you haven't subbed to my channel, please sub. And the reason I asked you that would be because one of the reasons I drop videos and don't do and try not to do as many lives is because when I drop videos, I get a lot more subs. Just wanted to let you know of that. Okay, you guys take care. I really appreciate you being here today. I'm sorry that we started off kind of controversial here with the subject, but we should be able to talk about the subjects we want. And if people might say, oh, he said that Dellacroce was a rat. Anybody that was on this show knows that's not what I said. But you're going to hear that tonight because these people have no content. They need this show for content. So they'll be talking about this show tonight. I guarantee it. It's easy to trigger them. I love triggering them. It's like triggering morons. That's what it's like. Everybody take care and thank you for being here.